Luke chapter 4, verse 25. Jesus is talking about Elijah, talking about the widow of Zarephath. And he says in these scriptures, he says that there were many widows during that time. And he said they were all experiencing the same thing: famine, drought, despair. But this woman, God chose to use to sustain the prophet and to save her life. And the thing that Jesus is bringing out as he says this is that this woman allowed faith to happen. Now, did you hear what I said? Because faith is such an incredible thing. But many times our faith will fail us when we need it the most, because fear comes in to dispel faith, and fear takes over and begins to reign. And everything that you've talked about, everything that you've heard people preach about, everything that you thought that you were in the realm of faith just seems to just go right out of the window, because dark times are here. And that's what they were experiencing here in Israel. I mean, it had rained forever, it seemed like. There was no water to be found. People were desperate. Crops were drying up. There was nothing to eat. Those were dark times, desperate times. And along comes the man of God, and he's demonstrating faith. And here's this woman, this widow, who's described as the widow of Zarephath, and she's desperate and destitute, and she's just come to that realization in her life that, like so many others, I'm just going to die. Because you have to know that there had surely been many deaths in the city of Zarephath, as well as all over. People were dying, and it was desperate times. But yet, when the opportunity to exercise some faith came to this woman, she didn't back away. She did what the prophet asked her to do. Now, there's a lot of questions in my mind about how this all came to pass. Did she get a revelation from God? I don't know. Jesus said that God picked her out of all the widows in the land. God picked her for some reason to be the one that would show forth the shining light of faith in dark and desperate times. Even though she knew the score, and she said it. She says, I'm going to cook this little bit of cake, and I'm going to feed it to me and my son. We're just going to die. And that was the pronouncement. But the thing is, there was that if, unless God does a miracle. Now here's the question. What kind of miracles can God do? Do we put limitations on the miracles of God? I think that's a question we have to ask. Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.